Hi. Good evening. Yes, I am excited too. Thank you. We'll wait for a couple of minutes before Dr. Smita joins us. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, Sharon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I think the light isn't great. I I think I
Right.
wanted to sit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. You're audible, but I think the light isn't great because I think if you put the phone towards that side, maybe you'll get better light.
Now,
Yeah, little better, little better.
it's actually very cloudy here today. I thought it
Right,
would, but yeah.
right. It's raining here as well.
Yeah.
So welcome, Dr. Patty. That's what they call you, right?
Yes. Make things easy.
Yeah. So this is the usual format. I want the guest to introduce self.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Smita Patibandla. I'm a psychiatrist working in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I do mostly inpatient and I do adult psychiatry. I tend to take care of patients that have acute issues, acute psychosis, acute substance abuse disorders, acute mood disorders, and they come to the ER, and then I get a call. I see if they need to be hospitalized because they are having um, safety concerns, and then I get to take them.
Right. Sounds exciting. I mean, sounds exciting. You're also a medical director of the
Yes,
institute.
yes.
Yes. Yes. So, good evening, everybody. So, today we have Dr. Smita Patipanda with us. She also happens to be my aunt. So, today's topic is very important, especially in 2020, because we are practically locked ourselves in the house. So, social media is the only way we can connect with people, which is a great thing. But what is the downside of it, even before the COVID has started? We're going to be talking, and how does it affect mental health? Um, Dr. Smita, because you work in America and I work in India, we have a lot of cultural differences of presentation and the usage. I was going through statistics. 95% of the American adolescents have an access or have their own smartphone. Whereas in India, the rates are much lesser, maybe around, I think 68% is what they say, smartphone usage. But however, the rest of the 32%, I'm sure they're sneaking into their parents' phone and they're using it. So safe to say that 100% of them do have access to a smartphone. Um, to start with, what are the few common symptoms or signs for one to know that they're getting addicted to social media?
Well, I think one of the first signs that parents can notice is the kids spend too much time on their phone, not being a part of the family social culture, like not wanting to come to the dinner table, not wanting to spend family time, uh, movie together, and then no, I'm going to do that. And another thing is staying up late at night at all hours. And then, so these are some of the things that parents definitely have to watch it, because kids, I don't think as such come to their parents and say we have a problem with social media. They don't. So parents have to be more vigilant, and they have to kind of expect or anticipate that they will be having problems.
Right, right. Even for me, right? It's very easy to slip into maybe addictive pattern because I'm busy. Yeah, because I'm busy at work. That's the only thing probably that is keeping me away from social media. Otherwise, I think the world is just a click away. So I tend to, but my use with social media is mostly productive. I tend to learn maybe painting, or I tend to enjoy different kinds of art forms, or I spend a lot of time on my the professional page that I have here for health education. But a lot of people, yeah, there is not necessarily productive use for everybody. What kind of different user patterns that you see with adolescents?
Adolescents in general, I think, they are the ones vulnerable to everything that is bad with social media, because their minds are not completely shaped. And you and I can see the difference between right and wrong, good and bad. But I think they go more with peer pressure. And then they like the sense of wanting to be belonged to a group. So they are more likely to get into groups, and more likely to get bullied in groups, more likely to kind of have, all kinds of problems, low self-esteem, that comes from, um, you know, uh, different aspects. The low self-esteem, just because some people feel like they're not as accepted as someone else in the group that seems to be more social and more outgoing. So they tend to develop a kind of social anxiety from that point. And then there's always the eating disorder part, both boys and girls, more so with girls, but less with boys. They tend to have this distorted body image. I mean, social media is dictating how one's body should look like these.
Yeah.
So, and they are the ones that, children most frequently go to. And they have this perfect sense of body image, and anything that doesn't match that is not appropriate or not good for them. So definitely, I mean, kids have a myriad of problems. But having said this, I also want to say that kids that already have a pre-existing anxiety disorder, depression, and other psychiatric issues are more likely to have these problems than kids that don't have those disorders. So when you know that your kid has a social anxiety disorder, I think parents have to be more watchful, trying to, what we call digital parenting, be more careful. And you can never tell your kid not to go into social media, because it's not happening.
Yeah.
And they have this, what do you call that? FOMO, the fear
Yeah.
of being left out. So they are not going to do that. So what you have to teach is what is the appropriate use. What is the appropriate use, and how to save yourself from all these negative things that can happen when you go on social media. I think that kind of education and opening the dialogue, and giving them those tools and the skills will help, not just during that age, but throughout their life,
Right.
not just it
Right.
will, because they're in a developing stage. It will go on. It will go on to the point where they can stand up for themselves, where they can feel happy the way they are, where they can find things that they like, be able to say, well, I am not into those things, but there are other things that I like. So kids don't always have to fall into a pattern, or fall into a group in order to be famous.
Right. I also see a lot of patients, maybe they don't meet the criteria for anxiety or depression, clinical anxiety or depression, but they do come with a lot of psychological issues. Um, uh, some people, they don't even develop proper communication skills because all they do is chat with people, and they are probably very good while they chat. When they have to talk in person, they have a lot of communication problems because of deprivation of social interaction in an age that is necessary for stimulation to happen. I see this happening. And also now we have much more younger kids. For example, I know a lot of celebrities, even their children, they have Instagram handles and things like that. Or people create Instagram handles for their pets where they keep uploading pictures of just the pets, which is fine. But I think kids also have a lot of this thing happening. And I do see a lot of these kids are coming down with communication issues. Do you see that as well?
Um, I don't do a lot of, adolescent, psychiatry here, but I do hear problems coming from friends or friends of friends reaching out to discuss the issues that their kids are having. And of course, the culture is quite different. In any culture, I mean, some of the most problematic things that I have seen are kids being depressed and because of cyberbullying, kids being depressed because of cyber stalking. These are all different. I mean, they're not the DSM-5, but these are in social media. And the other thing is, of course, eating disorders, like we've already, briefly touched based on them. And then the most troubling for me would be sexting. Posting pictures, semi-nude or nude pictures of young kids being posted. I mean, these kids don't realize that they leave a digital print. When you get into the social media network and you leave a picture there, it is there to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. So that in later years, I mean, can bring a lot of distress as well. So I have seen a happening, and parents usually, I ask them, what is it that you have done to help the kids? And they said, I took away the phone. I try to tell them, that is not going to work. That is not going to work. They feel like you're not helping them by taking away their phone. I think educating them and having, telling them that there are ways of getting help and, standing up for themselves. And sometimes even standing up for other people in the group, helping other people in the group. That kind of develops a good sense of, social morals and all those things. So that is how you have to do it. And kids don't realize that in order to be popular in school, you always don't have to step out of the boundaries or do things that make you really uncomfortable. Tell the kid, I mean, if you are sending a picture and if it makes you uncomfortable, don't send. So these are some of the things I tell the parents, and I try to tell them that, they might be having other issues, other body image issues, this desperate sense of wanting to be liked, going to the extent of exposing themselves, should also tell you that this is not just a behavior.
Yeah. Also, I have few patients who came to me with self-harm. It sounded silly when the patient told me the reason, but later when I gave it a thought that, it has a lot of deep sense for probably that particular person, where, when a particular girl is uploading her pictures, she's not getting enough likes as compared to her friend who is prettier, according to this girl, who is prettier and far more popular. So she thinks that, nobody likes her and everybody likes her friend more. And she felt she's worthless, because I see self-worth and self-esteem is directly proportional to the number of likes that you get and number of friends that you have on your followers and things like that. Did you see any case like that? Did you hear of any case like that, even in USA?
I mean, a number of cases where sometimes parents unfortunately don't even see this coming. When we explore the actual reasons in therapy, we go deeper and explore the reasons for acting out behaviors. for poor grades, for other behavior problems at school or at home, um, that's when we realize that they are being bullied in school, or they have this sense of poor body image that is driving them to do other things, including a desperate need for attention. Even it means that you have to hurt yourself in order to get attention from your friends that you think are not paying attention to you. And the other thing is the same thing with the sexting thing. I mean,
Yeah.
some is beautiful. They put their face up and then she got 100 likes. I'm going to expose myself a little bit more. So I'm going to get an equal number of likes, or more people are going to think I am, beautiful, or I'm, equally attractive. So yes, definitely a lot of cases.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, when you look at prognosis, right? Prognosis is, for people who don't know, prognosis is the almost recovery rates and everything about recovery. Is it going to be recovering quicker or poorer? I always say people with good family support, they recover quicker. It's almost like they don't even slip into cyberbullying or cybercrime and things like that. Because I think they get enough warmth and affection from both the parents and maybe even joint family, and they're well connected with their friends and things like that. And the false sense of self-esteem or lack of it is cleared by the parents. I always tell parents, because I know both are working parents, unlike the olden days. So both are extremely busy, and it's not even a joint family for grandparents to be taking care. You always have to be doing group activities together and always be involved in child's life, because I know a lot of adolescents, they block their parents on Instagram. They
Yes.
tell that, they don't want the parents to see their dual life. Almost, these people have dual life, if I may say so.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you tell parents there? Because I don't know how is parenting there.
Parenting there is, pretty much the same. I mean, just like Indian culture was different back in the day when we're talking about joint families. But now that is simply unheard of, even in India. And same thing here for various reasons. But there are families here that are very involved with their grandparents, very involved with their aunts, uncles, cousins. They have family times and all that. And what you said is absolutely true, that, the kid is being loved and is being supported emotionally at home, does not have to seek out support or that love outside. Um, so yes, but all in all, I mean, I think kids do get into this more also out of curiosity,
Yeah.
or out of peer pressure. So sometimes parents start thinking like if it's bad parenting on them, that they have done something wrong, or they are not good parents, they are not being strict enough. So these will lead to more stringent action towards the kids on the parents' part, which in turn makes things so much worse. So we have to tell the parents to take a deep breath, and it is going to be okay. Your kid is still in the developing stage, and you help the kid navigate. I mean, you don't expect your kid to sit in the driving seat and a learner's car and just maneuver without any difficulty. They will be making mistakes, and you will be there to guide them. Telling kids that always come to them with a problem, that parents are always there. You don't shun a kid by saying, oh my God, not social media again, or not your friends again, or not that, silly site again. No, not how that essentially stops the dialogue and the discussion and the help that parents could very easily give their kids right at home without having to seek out professional help, like coming to you or coming to me. So it can start right there. I mean, I'm sure parents have a lot of awareness, like most of them do. But the thing is, most of them think that their kid is not going to be the one that will have a problem. And when they have the problem, then they start acting in the extreme way, taking away the phone. I mean, I don't know how many times I read that that's the wrong thing to do, the most wrong thing to do. The kids become more rebellious, and they find ways. They sneak up on the parents. They find ways of trying to get to a phone and all that. So you give a phone, you educate them, you tell them you have to be careful about what you put on the internet. You have to be careful about who you give your phone number to. And you have to be careful about what the other person is asking you to do. And if it makes you uncomfortable, don't do it. Or discuss with your peers you think are emotionally healthy and can be supportive.
Yeah.
And also discuss with siblings. Siblings also can be a great help. Sometimes they don't always come to the parents. So if there are older siblings in the house, and they can be there to help each other.
Right. Right. No, here when I ask kids, like, how come when you had a problem, when someone was blackmailing you with your pictures or whatever it is, why did you go to your parents? Most of the kids told me that, if I went to my parents, they would have snatched my phone, and probably they would have locked me in the house, especially with girls. This happens that, you don't need to do all of this, just shut up and sit in the house and, I'll get you married. So a lot of people, in a particular section of community I'm talking about, a lot of people told me this. So I don't want this to be rant about parents, but I feel, parenting is anyways a difficult job, and social media might make it, a little more difficult. So
Yes.
yeah, so parents have to be extremely careful. Also, one more thing that I see is that anonymity on social media. There is a lot of anonymity. I can create 10 fake profiles, and I can talk nonsense about someone, or I can talk something great about my own self. So it will look like to the public that, I could be a greatest doctor out there. That can happen as well.
Yeah, somebody sends you a Facebook request to be friends, and then you see the picture of a famous actor or an actress there. I'm like, you have to be mindful when they're doing that. When somebody sends you a request, you don't automatically go and confirm the request. You go and you check on their, if it's not a closed account, you can still see the pictures, and you see if they have any common friends or common interests, and then you don't have to give in to the pressure and do all that. And even when you do, sometimes this happens in mostly. Like I have, your school group. So I don't know. I mean, I went to school a long time ago, long time ago. And then there are all these people that say, the school that I went to, St. Joseph High School, and they send me a request. And I kind of feel bad that, I don't want to forget my childhood friends. I want to be in linked with them, so connect with them somehow. So I keep saying yes. But then the minute I see an inappropriate comment or an inappropriate post, I promptly block them. And kids should know that they always have that choice. They don't have to continue that. They all can block it. And then most sites are making making sure that they can report it.
Yeah.
The content. So when you go and and try to see what is it that you can do, there are other things even before you go to your parents, before you go seek help from other people. Self-help. There's a lot of self-help. Instagram has tried to, I guess I was reading through all the, articles and everything for this talk. So Instagram reportedly has, blocked anything that would indicate an eating disorder, like maybe binging, purging, which means like eating excessively and trying to either self-induce vomiting or, using laxatives and things like that. So it is good. I mean, they are also having some awareness, but I think at a personal level, you just can't blame the social media. We are all responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not live with the social media? How can you run away? That's the whole point. That's a frustration, right? I mean, it's not good for kids. Everybody knows about it, but then every kid needs to use it. So what do you do about that? So the best thing you can do about that is to educate your kids, prepare them for the pitfalls, and let them know what to expect, and that these things will happen more than every kid in one form or the other. It's not like, it doesn't happen. It does quite frequently. So educating the kids is more important than completely removing that aspect of trying to remove that aspect of social media from their life. Education is more important.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I teach a lot of people about privacy settings. It's not part of my job as a doctor, but I tell all that also there's something called privacy settings. I think you should follow that. Even on Facebook, there is something called close friends, acquaintances, or restricted. If you think it's not nice to not accept somebody, you can always put them on the restricted list so they don't get access to your pictures. Because I know a lot of girls. When I was doing my post graduation, this girl came with suicidal attempt. Her picture was morphed into an adult site, a porn site actually. Uh, yeah. So but again, you can't be paranoid and not post a picture.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So privacy settings is very, very, very important.
Age, yes.
Yeah. So everybody is suggesting that they're not able to see you because it's pretty dark. So.
Close, maybe. How about now?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is much better.
Okay.
Much better. This is better light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, somebody let's just look at some comments, and if there are any questions, and then we can go further. Everybody says, "Hey, Dr. P. Hey, Dr. Patty."
That must be people from my work.
Yeah. How are eating disorders and body image issues stem from social media use?
Yes. So what does social media show us? It shows us, models, heroines, and, body sculpting. I was actually looking at some of the numbers, and it was mind-boggling to see that this is from 2016. 66,000 people in the U.S. had between the ages of 13 and 19, had some corrective cosmetic surgery. 66,000 between the ages of 13 and 19. And about 160,000 of those had minimally invasive. So the 66,000 was more invasive, and the 160,000 that I've talked about, also in the same age group between the ages of 13 and 19, had minimally invasive surgeries. So yes, you are seeing somebody that has lost weight, somebody that looks great, and tells you about all these fad diets and how they've lost weight in a certain short period of time, and how happy they feel, or how they have like 10 people asking, to be, to date them, things like that, become more popular, essentially. So weight loss has made me more popular. So what is the message that kids are getting out of it? That you lose weight, or, you thin down. I shouldn't say lose weight. You thin down, and then you'll be more attractive. Essentially, that's the message it is giving. So it can definitely lead to, distorted image of the body, and then thinking that, thin is beautiful, which of course, that is not always the case. All thin people are not healthy. They in fact have a lot of problems. I try to tell people, every now and then we do see a lot of eating disorder patients in our practice. I take a lot of 18 and 19-year-old patients to the inpatient unit. So some of the issues that they have are, gender issues, sexuality issues, like preferences, like, heterosexual versus homosexual, whatever. And then they also have this, like I said, the eating disorders are the most prevalent. So I ask them, are you happy with your weight? They say, yeah, I think I'm good. And then I ask them, if you were to lose 10 pounds, how would you feel about it? Most people would say, I think I'll be okay. Or I ask them, like, if you have to lose weight, how much would you like to lose? This is somebody that has a BMI of, less than 20 saying that they would like to lose 15 pounds more. So that gives away that, they're not getting, they don't have a good sense of body image. So that is how we diagnose. Eating disorder patients, they don't always come to us with eating disorders alone. So they usually come with depression and anxiety. So as mental health professionals, I think we should have the awareness of some of the issues that that age group, tends to deal with. So we are more mindful and ask the appropriate questions related to that.
Right, right. Yeah, somebody was saying, this is a medical student. She's saying that I think we need to teach JOMO, which includes all that we miss while being busy on our phones. Rightly said, I think.
Yes. Exactly. A lot of physical activity that you miss, a lot of family time that you miss, for sure. So I think having a schedule for the kid, if the kids start having a problem, if they say that, if you see that, rather than going to the most stringent measure of taking away the phone or wanting them not to go into those sites, get off of those sites. Don't give that kind of message to kids. Tell them, how about we have a structure? How about, you spend an hour after dinner with us every night, and then you go back to doing this. How about you help me buy this? We're shopping for something. How about you sit with us and help me do this online shopping thing, or, find out what products are more reliable or, less expensive. Involve the kids in activities like that. So I think the role of parents is immense. And being fearful, hating social media, and not wanting to deal with it is not going to solve the problem, because it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
So.
Right. No, true. What you said is true. Involving and probably, everyone doing things together and also bonding over social media is still fine. Than,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, that
yes.
is rightly said. Yeah, somebody saying, yes, many young people are growing unhappy with their body. Because I think even media, right? When you look at movies or modeling or different industries, they do promote a particular type of body, thinner body for women, and probably more fit and athletic body for men. So people think that's the only idea of real beauty.
Yes.
But I'm glad a lot of people are actually promoting, like, plus size models and things like that. The times are changing; they're in good times now.
Right.
I tell my patients, if you want to lose weight for yourself, for your own health, not because you'll get more likes or you look more presentable.
More socially accepted.
Socially acceptable. Yeah, accept yourself first, and then you can expect others to accept you. Yeah, that is very important. Also, I was wondering about parents. Supposed to be better digital role models.
Mm-hmm.
But now, because even parents are slipping into, like, for example, like if I have a kid like a couple of years.
They're learning too, because we as parents, we were not exposed. We as kids, we were not exposed to this much social media. So we are learning too.
Yeah. No, but I feel, parents or people of particular age group, they're still fine. I don't think so. The number of likes wouldn't bother to them, and they don't have any false sense of duality and things like that. But I think adolescents are the ones, and even till 25, not just adolescents, 25, 28, college going students, all of that. I think they are at definitely vulnerable age.
Right. Vulnerable, and what happens now eventually shapes up the rest of their life. What all distortions they end up having put into their immature brains will kind of continue to their adult life. So that maladaptive pattern of dealing with distress, or maladaptive way of trying to seek support or help, that continues throughout their life. If it is not addressed right now at this age, that continues.
Yeah. Also, I tell everybody, for example, if you look at my Instagram, like my personal page, nobody would think that, I'm working 12 hours a day. They'll think I'm always traveling, I'm always eating great things.
Right. Right.
So I tell people, like, don't judge that, the person who is on beautiful page is necessarily going through great life, and, that you are the unworthy one or anything like that. That's not true, because we tend to put out only the best things about ourselves and our life on social media. So I tell people that, don't get into that false sense. This little, everybody goes through ups and downs. That's pretty normal. Like, don't
Yes.
compare. Comparison leads to
Exactly.
worthlessness and jealousy and, multiple things like that.
Yes, I mean, I also have to raise my hand and say that, yes, I mean, I don't have a lot of friends to directly meet and interact. So obviously, I'm away from my family. My work is my family, my work family. I interact with them directly. But everybody else, it is a digital interaction, be it immediate family, extended family, be it friends. It is all come down to that. I mean, there have been times when this was really helpful. For instance, in my school had this group where I was able to see all my teachers. That was back from 1980s, and I could see all my teachers, and I was able to text one of my teachers, and she in turn responded, do you remember I taught you that play? You acted in that Shakespeare play and whatever. I mean, she was my favorite teacher. So it was so much fun. So I know, I mean, I probably get judged too, because I spend a lot of time on social media, but then it keeps me happy. And I know my boundaries, and I know when to say stop, or I'd rather be at home in my own confined space, in my own environment, and rather interact with people at my own time. I mean, I don't have time. They say we are meeting up so and so. We are having a party. You want to come join us? I can't. I'm working or I'm on call. I don't want to travel. There are any number of reasons, but doesn't mean that I have to lose my friends or
Right.
lose my social relationships. So I can still control the amount of things that and I've learned a lot of things from social media personally. I mean, recently joined a group of gardening here in Fort Wayne. I mean, I've been here in 4 years, and I don't have many friends. I mean, honestly, and now I know about this huge Indian community that lives here, and they're all into gardening, and we are growing Indian vegetables. So it is very, enriching sometimes. It can be very helpful. But again, you and I are talking as adults. And I think when you say trouble, the focus is more on the adolescent population. Yeah.
Right. 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 Yeah. Someone is saying, yes, boundaries are healthy. Yes, good point, Dr. Smita. Boundaries are very, very important. When you talk about boundaries, what are these boundaries? How do we tell adolescents how much time is too much, or how much is too much? People ask me, so doctor, now that I want to get out of my social media, how many hours in a day should I be on social media?
I would say gradually withdraw than just signing off and blocking your accounts. I mean, that also sends other messages, and then you get to hear about it. You can still pick up the phone and call you, have access to you, and say, oh, you have shut down all your accounts. So what is happening? We must be depressed, or did you have a breakup? Anything, any number of bad things. That itself will cause a lot more anxiety. So I would say structuring. I would say, have an hour of activity, limited. I mean, hours that you spend, and then be able to, without being defensive, kind of, explain clearly and precisely that, you're enjoying other things. You're there for your friends. So that is the biggest problem that kids have these days. I mean, how can I, how can I not respond to my friends? They might think that I've abandoned, or that I'm no longer in the group, and then they will no longer include me when they're going out on activities and things like that. So I think communication is effective communication, I should say, is a key, and be able to stand up for yourself and speak for yourself, not any room for imagining. Sometimes, kids shut off. That's the problem. Shut off, even from friends sometimes, and then that leads to a lot of online rumors, whatnot. So that in itself will bring more distress. Does not help in any way.
Right, right. So I do this thing called digital detox with my patients. It is, is my voice audible? I have a lot of background construction work going on.
Yes,
No,
you are. Yeah, yeah. Every now and then, I mean, it happened twice, Charan, so far, but it reconnects very quickly, so I'm okay. Go ahead.
okay, great, great. So I do this thing called digital detox, where I tell like few things for people. I may not necessarily follow them for people who know me personally, but
Uh-huh.
there's nothing wrong in telling what is the right way of doing things. First thing is when you go and meet your friends, when you're having get-togethers, leave all your phones to a side. Like when you're entering into someone's house, leave all the like deposit all your phones and then move in and bond together. Yes, I'm sure. Like we all want to take pictures together and things like that.
Right.
And towards the end or towards the beginning, you can all probably have your photo session and then put the phone back and probably bond together. Once in a while, at least start doing it. I know it's not very practical considering all of us are working and we might have work calls and things like that. But try to do it once in a while so you appreciate other things better. And also, I
Yeah.
think weekly, one day, I tell them to completely be off their phone. I'm doing it recently, other than my work calls. I'm actually sitting in my balcony doing nothing. I'm a restless person. I have a
Good.
need to do something or other constantly. but like like my friends and even Satya taught me that just sit in the balcony, like do nothing, be still, process your thoughts. It really helped. I was sitting in the balcony. I was just watching construction happen, or just watching people walk by, or there are kids on the road, there are puppies on the road walking. It's great. The feeling is amazing. It's even better than what a great post with a lot of likes would give me. So I tell people to go at least one day a week off, and slowly you can increase that a few hours a day. And in the house also have
Yeah.
no screen areas. For example, a dining area, or when you're watching something on the TV, or on movie, or when you're working, if you're not a person who needs to work on your phone, that kind of work. For example, if you're an artist, or if you're a freelancing architect or things like that. So I tell
Right.
them these simple tips that really helps. Uh, uh, what do you think? You want to add anything to this
Well,
digital detox?
when you were asking about this, because I remember my older brother, when we went to India, was actually they trained all the elders in the household about watching TV. He was saying, you don't watch TV when you have other people with you. I mean, we were all sitting with him and talking. It was like TV time. He switch off the TV, and he was making it a point to whenever he walked into the room, sitting with us, talk to us. I hope he's watching it, watching this. I mean, yeah. So that is something we need somebody to put. Sometimes we need somebody in the family to kind of remind us, because even though we have good intention, things can get lost. So I mean, who better than your older brother that can kind of command you how you do things? So that's exactly why I kept the whole time asking me the question. Yes, absolutely. So doing physical activity, sometimes doing nothing. Doing nothing will work when you're not alone. It won't work when you're not alone. It will work when you have
Yeah.
a partner. There's a conversation going on in the background, and there is some interaction going on, and then it probably won't work by yourself. So physical activity, I try to do a lot, and the same thing. I said people think that you don't do anything, that you're not busy with your profession, which is true in my case too. To a large extent, people think that I'm not doing anything. The thing is, I've learned so much photography, just self-taught. Try to do a lot of gardening. I mean, any information I have, any question I have, I mean, it's not to ask people. You get online and you check out the information. And so there are a lot of good things, even with social media thing, and we cannot disregard that. And we have that in, like, there's a lot of good things, and back, associated with everything. Back in the years, it was movies, and then it was the TV that made you our, in our living room, and then magazines. And now it is a social media, which of course made into the bathrooms, bedrooms, everywhere.
Everywhere.
So everywhere. So yes.
Yeah. So I also tell my patients to switch, like look for alternatives. For example, if I want to, let's just say I want to play Ludo on Ludo online, which is a very popular game in lockdown now. So I mean, unless you are, if you're alone, then it's a different case. But if you have people in your family, maybe actually play a board game instead.
Yes.
Right? For example, if you want to paint something, people are painting on their iPads. Instead of that, get a paper, get some paints, and throw some paints and paint. Because I know you paint, and I know you paint. You paint beautiful. Even I am painting.
I just throw color on canvas. You paint. I don't.
No, that is painting too. What I'm saying is, switch to better alternatives, and we still do it. A lot of adolescents, they have very advanced gadgets where they can design things and things like that. But I think switching to our olden, good old methods of doing it is a great idea to probably ward off this media addiction, is what I think. Also, somebody was asking, can you explain about cell phone etiquette?
Cell phone etiquette, yes. Please time. Don't pick up the phone. And then when you are especially in a movie theater or situations, you go to a concert or or a show where it will be you're disturbing other people. You should not be having your phone ringing or things like that. And then please, you have a friend that you're one, you get a phone call, and don't get into this long drawn conversation with the person on the phone for 5 minutes while the person waiting for you to complete the phone call. I mean, these are basic things. I would suggest that you don't pick up the phone at all. If it is an emergency, ask the person, can you excuse me? I really need to take this call. You take the call. And, I mean, you can also tell your family members or your friends about your availability. Like, I usually like getting calls during my work time. I mean, healthy education. And then you do the same. You think about calling a friend, you think about what time it is, especially in this global world now. I mean, what time it is and what they could be doing. If it is a work time, don't call. And then there's always the texting. So I would text and say, is it okay if I call you now? I have a question. So these are some of the things that we can do.
Yeah. Also, WhatsApp groups is, I can't even tell you the number of groups I'm forced into. I know there are 2 or 3 groups that really matter to me. One is my work group. One is my, like our family group. One is with my really close friends. But other than that, there are so many groups that I'm put into that I'm on it because, it won't look nice if I walk out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it happens to all of us. I mean, family group, I mean, you have your personal choice or preference. First thing I do when I get up in the morning, and of course, it's not a good thing to do. The first thing you get up in the morning, you grab your phone and you look at your messages. But I guess, I'm a doctor, so I get called at night. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't miss any calls from the previous night. So anyway, it became a habit. I'll agree. I'll confess. To see that I to my family group. We call that the JKP group. That's the one that I'm most attached to. Oh, that's the one that has my heart. And so that's where I go first. And then I go to the others. There are school groups, kids that I have gone to school till like maybe 10th grade. And after that, they've gone their way, I've gone my way, out of respect and out of, they keep sending me messages sometimes. Oh, you've been big now, you're a doctor, you don't want to interact with us anymore. But then I try to stay silent. And then when they make racially motivated or, anti-religious rants, I once told them this is not appropriate. And the next time that happened, I got myself out of the group. So, I mean, what can you do? You want to be a part of everything. You can't keep everybody happy all the time. So we have to realize that with that knowledge, I mean, the other person that's trying to judge you also should know. The person that's calling you not being social or not being available should also know better before they accuse you, like what you how busy you are and how you can be available for people.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, being assertive and I think respectfully communicating that, you don't want to be part of something is better than, being part of it and getting irritated. I
Yes.
understand. Someone actually told a wonderful idea that the blue ticks gives one's anxiety. Like, guess we need to disable that option because, we keep checking if the message is read or not.
Okay.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Actually, I did that also because I don't want people to think I'm rude of not replying back because I'm at work and I can't concentrate. So that really, really works. Thank you, Elysium.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think pretty much we discussed about everything, about digital detox and body image issues, depression, anxiety, self-harm, loneliness, self-worth and esteem, communication, and even self-absorption.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I know so many accounts where the entire account is filled with that person's picture, nothing else. Like it's almost like there is no social life. I mean, there is no one else. I mean, I actually feel bad about it because where's family and friends? Why they're not part of your this thing? Self-absorption also is something. Uh, you know,
What they are called, I guess.
yeah,
People
yeah,
that up and fill up their thing, selfie holics. That's and again, that's something that I learned today just when I was looking into it. So yes,
right. So
being mind being mindful of the that can come up with this, kind of trying to check yourself, finding that balance, healthy balance, I should say, is going to work in the long run. Uh, complete complete avoiding of social media is definitely not going to work. Just like those fad diets where you say that just avoid carbs, and then you can do it for time, but you can't do it for any extended. So same
right,
thing here. A
right.
healthy way of maneuvering and making this a positive thing in your life, making sure it has a positive impact on your life, and the life of your loved ones, is what can be done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. So, well, I think one last thing I want to tell is also parents to respect privacy of kids. Sometimes, it's either black or white. There is no gray. It's all or none. Either you don't check on your kids or you're constantly checking on them. That makes them create parallel group, another group with probably another name. And in the name of anonymity, they can probably, do a lot of nonsense and even probably cybercrime. So I think respect your child's privacy, somebody who is growing, somebody who is identity formation age, which is adolescent age, or sexual exploration and things like that. Talking about sex education, that's a whole big topic in itself that probably we can do some other time. So I think respecting their borders and things are also very, very important.
Trust and healthy respect is very important. It
Yeah.
can be between kids and parents. So if you're not doing that, you really can kids to respect you or come or trust you with things like that. I've had have I also go have a fake account and go there on their sites and see what is happening. No, it's not going to work. How you do it. I mean, when the message that you're giving is of care and concern, why do you go a devious way of doing it?
Right.
So,
Right. True. All right. I think that brings us to end of the topic. I mean, we can talk about 1 more hour about the lot of examples, personal and professional, but I think it's gonna end now. So thank you so much. I know, I know you're busy. I know you just it's morning for you and you took time out for me. Thank you so much. Uh, I learned a lot because whenever you and me meet, even in our like family this thing, we both keep talking about
I know.
a lot of cases and how culturally they're very different. We both learn from each other. So I think today is not any other day. Thank you so much, Mridupalli.
Ever before. So, I mean, definitely is about doing it, but you put me at ease and it all went very smooth. So, I mean, thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for giving me the opportunity.
No, my pleasure. Someone
Sure.
said, wonderful session, doctors, and super informative. Yes, I'm going to share this on my IGTV. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. You have a good day.
Thanks, Sharon. Bye-bye.
Bye.